Many people around the world believe in ghosts or spirits, and many simply don't. Do you?
I do believe there is stuff here. Just don't think there's an awful lot of activity going on in this room.
I don't think there's been anything that's definite, anything that's actually made me think, maybe. So I'm still a sceptic at the moment, guys.
Definitely heard something. Don't know. Kind of sounded like a grumbling stomach, but it definitely wasn't mine.
There's no such thing as spirits. There's no one here except me and Barry.
Something might happen, like, you know, be pretty good, bit of orbs or something.
If anything does exist, it's not showing me nothing.
You got to be at the right time, right place.
Talking to the dark, man.
Just because there's nothing going on doesn't prove that there's nothing there.
We've asked for them to come forward and nothing.
Show yourself as a light anomaly. They say most people who report seeing ghosts or spirits are just your average everyday person. Someone who's just going about their daily business. So why is the subject of the paranormal always put to the back of a person's mind? Is it because most people are sceptical until proven otherwise? My name's Frank Humphries. Stay with me as I invite members of the public to join me on a paranormal experience of a lifetime. Joining me this series we have 8 ordinary members of the public. 4 skeptics versus 4 believers. During each episode, one guest from each side will battle it out against the other in their own personal quest to prove or disprove the existence of ghosts or spirits. A battle that is sure to consist of teeth-clenching fear and sheer grit determination. Also joining me this series, we have spiritualist medium Karen Sherlock from the Whittle on Merseyside. It's going to be really interesting to hear what Karen has to say about this evening's location. Now, before I go inside and have a chat with our guests, let me first welcome you to the Red Lion in Llangynnydde. The Red Lion Inn sits on the edge of the beautiful Brecon Beacons in the small village of Llangynnydde. This 15th century building was originally 3 separate parts, the bar being the manor house, the pool room being the beast house, and the dining room being the little house. In the 1840s, all 3 buildings were merged to form the public house you see today. Between 1776 and 1986, a number of people owned and leased the property, with a Mr. and Mrs. Philpotts being the most well known, residing at the building for over 25 years in the late 1800s. There have been a couple of books published which mention the Red Lion. The first is called An Introduction to the History of Llangynnydde. When talking about the village church, the book states the Red Lion was formerly a church house where parishioners could stable their horses whilst having refreshments before attending church duties. A further book written, Shadows in a Landscape, is again said to mention the Red Lion. An extract from the book, talking about a man named John Owen, states, the son had been involved in the Chartist movement, and following the uprising in 1839, he was sentenced to 6 months hard labour for manufacturing weapons. He had been actively involved in meetings to design pikes at the Lion Beer House, Llangynnydde. Unfortunately, it is not known as to which lion the book is referring to, but many believe it to be the Red Lion. The upper floor of the building was once a function room which ran pretty much the length of the building, but in the 1920s the design was changed yet again, this time to accommodate a new staircase and more bedrooms. Today, the present owners Sarah and Adi Farr keep the building to a very high standard as a lovely bed and breakfast, with relaxing rooms and delicious home cooked food, giving all visitors a great home from home, relaxing, friendly family atmosphere. Such a small building, but yet packed full of history. If you're ever in the area, it may certainly be worth popping in for a bite to eat. Maybe sample a local brew, and if you want, maybe even stay the night. Now, we've got a couple of guests here who'll be staying the night, but unfortunately they'll have no time to relax. We have Leanna Williams, who's a 100% believer. She'll be battling it out tonight against Rhiannon Osborne, who is a 100% skeptic. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Right, Leanna, I'm going to start with you first. You're a big believer.
100%.
Tell me why you believe.
I've seen stuff since I was a really young kid.
What stuff?
There was one time in my bedroom, My father called me. I happened to look back into my bedroom and there was a man standing over my bed.
Why do you think you had that experience?
I don't know.
Right, okay.
I really can't explain.
Okay. Now, Rhiannon Osborne, big skeptic, yeah?
Yeah.
But I believe you have a little bit that's happened in your life.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this.
My great-grandfather on my mother's side came over from Pennsylvania and his occupation was clairvoyance. Like, I've seen the documents, I did a whole search. Yeah. Being such a skeptic, I thought it was quite interesting, so it kind of brought me here.
Coming back to yourself, Leanna, yeah? Clairvoyance, is it possible to pass on the gene?
Yes.
Any idea on how you believe this could be done?
I can't really say, but my mother's got some abilities as well.
Tell me a little bit more about being empath. What is this all about?
You can go into certain buildings, you might sense something. I've known me to walk up to a random person and I can feel whether they're in pain, whether they're happy.
How long have you been able to do this?
15 years.
Do you believe you get your ability from your mum?
Yes.
When you applied to join us on the show, Rhiannon, right, you did say that at one point in your life, you was a strong believer.
It was more when I was a child, so I think you kind of tend to believe more when you're a child anyway.
Do you think a lot of talk around maybe your parents or your grandparents might have influenced you?
Of course, definitely, yeah. My mother's a strong believer. She sees mediums all the time, so she was told that she had the gift. And she says that she's seen things.
Okay, so seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing, yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Good stuff. You've actually seen Leanna, so it's not a case of seeing is believing for you. It's a case of you now trying to prove to Rhiannon that this building possibly has spirits in it.
Yeah.
Okay, are you guys ready for a walk through this building?
Yeah, let's do it.
See you shortly, okay?
Thank you.
Well, here we go, our final guest of the series. Are these guys up for a paranormal battle? Well, I'm sure we're going to find out soon enough. Now, before we see their walkthrough, let's hear what some of the staff have to say about the supernatural side of the Red Line.
We've been here 11 years now, so we have heard a lot of things. Noises going along the corridor, and also not so long back, I actually thought I saw a figure in the corridor as well. It looked pretty real to me at the time. It was early hours of the morning, but I went across to the bathroom and I could have sworn there was somebody outside one of the B&B rooms.
The most paranormal activity is upstairs, mainly room 6. Babies can't go in there. Young children, they just cry. And then you bring them back out again and they stop crying. We have another 2 B&B rooms, room 4 and 5. Room 4, there's been nothing specific in room 4, but room 5, we've had a few B&Bs say that they felt a cold spot in there, where they're literally next to the bed. They sort of put their hand out and it feels cold. Was in the building with my colleague and I could hear somebody upstairs. When I came into the bar to see my colleague, she said exactly the same thing. She'd heard footsteps walking along the corridor. When she went up, there was nobody there. There was a time when I heard a whisper. I was about to go upstairs. I opened the door to the bottom of the stairs, went to walk upstairs, and something said Sarah. So I turned around and there was nobody there. And I know there was nobody else in the building at all. Downstairs, I would say the bar, the pool room are the main where you hear things. Pool room, when you're not in the pool room, if you're in the bar or in the kitchen, you can sometimes hear voices. And you can hear when you break the balls and they crack, you can hear that happening sometimes as well. I believe the person responsible for haunting the Red Line would be Mrs. Philpotts. It seems to fit in with what people say. Am I a skeptic or am I a believer? I am a believer. I've had experiences in the past away from this building that leads me to believe that there is something, but I don't know what. Am I a believer? Am I a skeptic? I just don't know.
I think something's been seen in you.
Was it weird, like a cold, draft you, and I felt my hair go up like this, at one point? Not saying that's anything paranormal.
She could have walked through a spirit.
Probably just a draft.
It is 100% haunted.
There's been nothing to prove at this moment in time that this room is haunted. I feel like it's really cold in here.
Yeah.
Why do you think the temperature dropped?
I have no idea.
I just want to have a look. I just want to see if... Yeah, it's definitely a draft. That's probably why it's cold. Come and check.
You've got a tiny bit coming through, but not enough to make the room that cold.
I don't believe this room's haunted. Do you?
I believe it is haunted.
So how do you feel about this room?
There is something slightly off in this room. It could have been someone seen side of the bed. Maybe
But like, how do you know this? Like, are you a medium?
I'm not a medium, but some people operate on a different wavelength.
Okay.
So I might be more susceptible to seeing stuff.
I don't feel anything. I just see a creepy old chair, but I don't understand really.
Sorry, can you hold on for a sec?
Okay, Lee.
I'm starting to feel anxious in that corridor over there and down in these stairs here.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but it's uneasy. That door just moved. Is it a draft?
Yeah, probably.
Like only a quick, like that.
Do you think because you're here and you're looking for ghosts and paranormal things that you want to hear things?
Yeah. I definitely, 100% hands down, heard that door go.
Why didn't I hear it?
Perhaps because I was closer.
Surely I would have heard it. Maybe it's wishful thinking on your part.
There's definitely a big difference between upstairs and down here.
Why do you feel that way?
Upstairs, I feel like there's a lot going on. But it's like coming down here is like more relaxed.
The temperature seems to be a bit warmer down here. Do you think maybe that's why?
Could be. I feel that there are spirits going through the entire building.
It's a bit colder in here, but it's nice. It's a nice pub.
My overall opinion of this building is that it's got so much going on, but I'd like to find out what it's truly like when the lights are out.
The building's got cold spots, and there's probably a valid, logical explanation for that.
Do you think I'd be able to totally convince you tonight?
Seeing is believing. If I don't see it, I'm not going to believe it. So.
Some interesting stories by the members of staff who work here at the Red Lion. And what about our guests? Is this building starting to get a grip hold of Rhiannon? Will she submit to the possibility that spirits are real? Well, one thing's for certain, Leanna certainly believes that she will not be beaten when it comes to her belief in the paranormal. Or will she? Our paranormal referee medium Karen Sherlock has just entered the building. Before we say hello to Karen, let's see what happened earlier when I spoke to some of the locals about their belief in the paranormal. I've just stopped a member of the public, but this lady also works in this building. Her name is Bethan Ralph. Bethan, really nice to see you.
And you?
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so Bethan, now I believe you've had some paranormal experiences. Do you want to tell me a little bit about this?
I have, yes, I've had quite a few actually. The first one, I was staying here one night, all on my own, about 5 o'clock in the morning. The kettle switched itself on. It's quite hard to actually push down. So how on earth that came on itself, I have no idea. Another night down here by myself, and I heard a smash. Come out the door, to look into the bar, expecting to see glass all over the floor. Couldn't see anything. Walked the other side of the bar, and there was glass, like, splintered all across the bar. Right. And I looked up, and on the shelf, one of our glasses, which are usually upside down, the top of it had been smashed, as though it had been squeezed. The bottom of it that was touching the shelf itself was still intact.
Your main paranormal experiences then seem to be inside this building.
Yes.
What's your personal opinion with regards to ghosts and spirits?
I believe that there is something there, whether that be an actual spirit of somebody who's passed or whether it's the building storing the energy and replaying that energy. Okay. I don't know.
With all this in mind, are you a skeptic or are you a believer?
After what I've experienced, I'm definitely a believer.
Some very interesting stories there by yet another member of the public. Joining me now we have spiritualist medium Karen Sherlock. Karen, welcome to allegedly yet another haunted location.
Thank you, Frank. I'm pleased to be here.
Really nice to have you here, Karen. Right, so Karen, you just entered the building. Are you feeling anything in this area at the moment?
I've picked up a few names in here. I've got the name Alid and I've got the name David as well.
Tell me a little bit more about Alid.
Possibly a landlord at one time. That's my feelings with him.
And the other gentleman, what's his name?
David.
David.
But I feel a farmer with him that actually comes in here for a bit of relaxation.
So he was a visitor to the pub?
Yes.
You're picking up these gentlemen, they're visiting. Is there anyone who's permanent here?
Yes, we've got two ladies. One of the ladies' name's Mary and the other one is Beth.
Tell me about Mary.
Maybe a farmer's wife.
Did she live here? Did she visit here? What?
Combination of both, sort of living here and visiting here.
This lady Beth, what does she have to do with the building?
I feel possibly worked here at one time, but I don't feel behind the bar. I feel cooking with her.
Any ages?
Beth, I'd say late 20s.
So she was only young?
Very young.
Okay.
And Mary, I'd say late 70s.
Is there any paranormal activity in this area caused by them?
Yes. Glasses being moved, glasses maybe being smashed. They like everything in place.
You're saying if something is moved in the building, this causes activity?
Yeah, they're not happy. Possibly a picture, table and chairs relocated.
Surely you're not getting these messages from the dead to tell you all what you've just told me?
Oh, I believe so, Frank. I
You
really
really
do believe, because they bring in feelings and emotions as well. And for the names just to come out of thin air, you know, that it just doesn't happen.
You usually bring some items with you, yeah?
Yes.
I believe you brought an item with you today.
I have.
Can you show our viewers what that item is?
I have a doll that I brought. She is a negative doll, I will say. There's a lot of history behind this doll, a lot of negativity. Where she's actually been around, there's been a few deaths as well. Okay. And she caused a lot of bad luck.
To me, that's just a doll. There's no paranormal activity around that doll whatsoever. I think it's just a fake myth.
I don't believe that, Frank, because I know the history of this doll and where it's come from, and the person around it that has had a lot of trauma.
Okay, well, are you ready to do a walk through the building?
I am, Frank.
Let's go this way. And
Thank you.
Go.
I feel quite dizzy coming up these stairs.
Why is that?
It's just the feeling, the impression I get. Maybe someone that was here, lived here, used to get disorientated, and I'm getting out of breath with it as well.
Okay. Is that not because you just come up the stairs though at all?
No. I'm getting the name Llewellyn.
Okay.
I feel this is a gentleman that walked up the stairs, that was out of breath, that had to steady himself. I feel totally disorientated here again.
You do, yeah.
Still the confusion, and I still feel it's this gentleman.
Man the step, Karen. Right. Room 4, it's not the biggest room in the world, Karen.
No. I feel during the night, I feel there's a temperature drop. I feel a little bit of activity in here. Okay. And I feel not many people get a good night's sleep here.
Is there a spirit in here?
At the present moment, no. But I feel visitation is evening.
Okay, just to your right, Karen, yeah? There we go. Right, okay, Karen, now.
This is totally different.
It's totally different feeling, yeah? This is a wall's thickness away from the next room.
Yes.
A lot bigger, but it feels to me a lot different.
This has got a totally different atmosphere altogether. And it feels a bit denser, a bit colder. Okay. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this room.
Tell me why.
I feel, I've got to say, it's a male. His name's Stephen. But I feel as if I've got a bit of a problem with my throat. Either being choked or a hand round my throat.
Is it possible that this Stephen may have hung himself in this area?
Yes.
Right, okay. To be honest with you, when I first come in here now, I feel like this is a lot colder than even the last room.
I feel fine in this room.
You do?
I do.
So, you feel fine in here? Is there any spirit in here?
Yes. 2 children.
Children?
2 children.
Any names?
Yes, Mary and John.
Okay. Come over here, Karen. I just wanna get the feeling in this area here as well. Mary and John. These children are related to any of the other spirits you picked up on?
Yes, to a lady called Mary.
Did these all pass together or they passed separately?
They passed separately, but within a short period of time with all of them.
How old are the children?
About 5.
5?
Yes.
Why are they here? What are they doing? Are they mischievous? Are they happy? Are they sad?
I feel they're mischievous. You might hear a lot of laughing or giggling, running about in the hallway. I feel they love this place. I feel it's evening time. The whole of the hallway and the rooms change.
Tell me how you're feeling here in this area.
Again, totally different. I feel a lot of gentlemen came in to have a drink here, traditional. I'm seeing dominoes, I'm seeing crib, that type of game as well.
Are these living people or are these spirits from a time gone by?
I feel spirits from time gone by. Father Francis Jones, he moves objects, he may move glasses, you might hear a little bit of banging, you might hear the pool table going now and again.
How do you mean the pool table? What do you mean?
With balls moving even if they're not on the table. I feel maybe bar staff would have heard that.
Pool balls can be moved on this table?
Yes.
Right, and you believe that this could be the spirit of a priest?
Yes.
By the name of Francis Jones?
Yes.
Off camera, on the way down the stairs before, you mentioned something about a picture on the wall, which we did mention earlier on as well. You said if that picture's moved off the wall, there could be some form of activity.
Yes.
Shall we take a walk and have a look at that picture now?
Yes, Frank.
Okay. Off we go then, after you, Karen, yeah? So, if my camera operator can show the viewers the picture that Karen, I think, is referring to, Karen, is that lady on the wall?
Yes, she did reside here and she was the landlady, but a very proud landlady. She doesn't like things being moved. She'd get a little bit annoyed if you move anything away from her. So she does cause a little bit disturbance if anything's taken out of place.
Do you have a name for her?
She's not giving me a name, she's just making her presence known to me at the moment.
Okay, Karen Sherlock, as ever, it's been really lovely speaking with you. One more thing I want you to do is tell our viewers out there how they can get in touch with Karen Sherlock.
Through my email, which is karensherlock2005@yahoo.co.uk, and also through Facebook.
So Karen, if you go and join our guests, and I'll catch up with you shortly.
I certainly will, Frank.
Okay.
Thank you.
This investigation will take you on a journey into the paranormal like no other. At the end of tonight's vigils, will the believers still believe or will the skeptics still be skeptic? Now we also want your opinion as the viewer. Will your mind be changed by what you're about to see, feel or hear? You can send us an email to info@paranormalminds.co.uk telling us your stories, telling us how you feel about this place this evening. Now they say life's too short. Or is it?
There it is, it's going round. Can you see like a circle?
Come to circle.
Karen and Leanna are hallucinating.
If any of you are in here, can you please make yourself known to us?
Come on, make them believe.
Is this just a figment of Leanna's imagination here, Karen?
She's writing what she's saying.
If they are here, these spirits, then they're doing a good job to hide from us yet again.
Give it time, give it time. There is something going on.
We're just keeping it real.
As I'm holding this doll, I'm getting terrible pain.
Uneasy feeling at the pit of my stomach.
Can you make yourself known?
Look at the eyes.
Whoever it is lurking in the background.
It's a male energy that's here in this room.
Francis Paul Jones.
See what you can stir up.
I feel uncomfortable here.
If there are any spirits in this room,
do something.
Someone's pulling my coat.
It's come and gone. Can you do the same again, please?
I feel cold.
That's not going to convince me.
It'll prove you wrong.
What's the big finale?
There was someone around us.
You don't exist. We're talking to the wall.
I think you're wrong.
there's been nothing so far to change my mind. I'm still very much a skeptic.
It's just having no effect on the skeptics.
I disagree.
Me and Frank are going to walk out skeptics. There are no spirits in this room.
There are spirits in this room. This place is most definitely haunted.
After hearing a story told by landlady Sarah Farr, we thought it best to hold our first vigil on the main staircase. This was also an area our guest believer Leanna and medium Karen Sherlock felt uncomfortable earlier. Karen also claimed she had sensed a spirit by the name of Llewellyn on the staircase. So with Karen's haunted doll in hand, we started our first vigil of the night. We just started our first vigil. We're actually on the staircase. We have Karen Sherlock with us, our spiritualist medium. We have Sol with us, our camera operator. We have Leanna Williams, our guest believer. And we have Rhiannon Osborne, our guest skeptic. Right, earlier on in this area, how did you feel, Leanna?
I felt uncomfortable, as if there's an uneasy feeling of the pit on my stomach.
Leanne's feeling the oppressiveness on the stairs where we are at the moment.
Okay. Karen, you've brought something with you this evening. You brought a doll. Can you show the viewers that doll, please?
I can. This is the doll.
Okay. Does the doll have a name, Karen?
Yes, she does. Her name's Suki.
Suki?
Suki.
Okay. Is she named after anything in particular?
She came with that name.
Do you think Suki's going to possibly create some energy here this evening, Karen?
I believe so. Yes, she can do.
Rhiannon, you don't feel too happy about the doll, do you?
No, it's just a bit spooky. I don't think there's anything paranormal going on with it. It's just got a creepy face.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here now. You were feeling a little bit queasy here before, yeah? It was actually in this area here. You thought a door opened next to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's any spirits here on the staircase and you were affecting Leanna before, can you show yourself as a light anomaly, please? Is this just a figment of Leanna's imagination here, Karen, or has she felt some spirit?
No, she has felt spirit along here, and I do feel that she's right in what she's saying.
Leanna, can you call out for the spirits, please?
Yeah. It is someone by the name of Llewellyn here.
If there's a spirit of Mrs. Philpotts, are you here listening to us now?
Oh my god, funny sensation on my chin.
Like
a tickling sensation. It's only like a slight tickle.
Okay. If there's a spirit around Leanna now, and you're tickling her chin, tickle Rhiannon's chin. Maybe move Rhiannon's hair. Pull on a jacket. Pull on anyone's jacket. We've heard a lot about you spirits of the Red Lion, but I don't believe you're here. We've heard stories of you whispering in people's ears, calling names on the staircase. Call our name. Can you use the energy from the doll that Karen's holding?
Can I just say, Frank, as I'm holding this doll, I'm getting terrible pain in my left hand side of my stomach as you've been calling the name of Mrs. Philpotts. On top of the stairs as well.
Mrs. Philpotts, is this you? Have you come to say hello? Are we just strangers in a building that you think you have control of? Come and say hello.
I'm not getting.
It could be anything because we are stood on these staircases and, you know, the creaking like you wouldn't believe. Karen seemed to think whilst on the staircase our guest believer Leanna was feeling the emotions of a spirit by the name of Llewellyn. As for our skeptic Rhiannon, well, although spooked by the doll, she was feeling very enthusiastic about her first vigil and was ready for more. Myself, well, apart from a couple of explainable noises and the tickling sensation Leanna felt on her chin, there was nothing much else to be concerned with. The question is, will Suki the Haunted Doll start to conjure up something paranormal as we head into rooms 4, 5 and 6? We left the main staircase and headed up to the first floor corridor to see if the spirits of Miss Philpotts and any other alleged spirits of the Red Lion would be there to greet us.
And I feel this doll's being pulled out of my hands, as if she's being pulled down. And if one of the girls would like to hold her, you stand there like standing. Yeah. Hold her exactly where I'm holding her now. Yeah. I hold it there. I feel a dragging sensation.
That doll's face looks so realistic, doesn't it? Look at the eyes.
As I said before, I don't know if you can feel the pressure being pulled down.
I don't know, just the weight of the doll maybe.
Okay, so what we're going to do, keep hold of the doll. Let's walk, right, so we're going to go straight through, yeah? We're just outside room 4, we're just inside room 4, and we've got a song in the corridor. Okay, Leanna, how did you feel before in room 4?
Uneasy, again, uncomfortable. Just the wind.
Just a car. That's a car. That's not wind.
It is the wind.
That's the wind.
It's come and gone.
Can you do that again?
If there's any spirits in or around this building, can you do the same again, please? After the dragging sensation Karen felt whilst holding onto the doll and the unusual gust of wind at one end of the corridor, we decided it best our camera operator Sol stay in the corridor whilst myself, Karen and our guest continued on with the vigil inside room 4, a room where Karen says spirits visit often.
If there are any spirits in this room, can you make yourself known? Can you tap something or hit something over?
Can you touch Rhiannon's face? Give us a flash of light. Give us a flash of light. Pull on the clothing. I know you're here, but prove to Rhiannon or even Frank that you really do exist. Can you make the doll move? Maybe move one of her arms?
That isn't going to happen, Rhiannon. Do you know why?
Why?
Tell her why, Rhiannon.
Because there are no spirits in this room.
There are spirits in this room.
This doll don't seem to be doing much at the moment, Karen.
Give it time. Give it time.
Okay, well... What's that? What was that?
That was out in the corridor.
To me, the noise sounded like it was inside the room. Listen to the audio outside in the corridor at exactly the same time. This certainly seemed to be a missed opportunity for Leanna to strengthen her case as a believer and prove to Sceptic Rhiannon that there just may have been a spirit in the room. Give it time, give it time. Okay, just give it some time. Miss Philpotts, Stephen, Alid,
Llewellyn,
David,
Mary and Beth.
You got to do something really strong. Bang on the door. Move a pillow on the bed. Move the doll. There's a bin on the floor.
Come on, make them believe. Do something. Prove that you are really here.
It's more like a begging match here. You believers always begin to beg for activity. If these spirits are here, you shouldn't have to beg for any activity. I don't believe spirits are in any location. I believe spirits are in people's minds for comfort.
I do feel that they exist in this room, but I do feel this is quite calming at the moment. We do need to move on to another room.
The moment I mentioned Suki, the alleged haunted doll, we heard a double tap, which seemed to be right on cue. Unfortunately, Leanna brushed the noise off as coming from the corridor. It's moments like this that could change the course of the night. This is why I believe I must never be too open-minded. However, Leanna did ask for the light anomaly, and as if by paranormal magic, a light is seen shooting down the screen. But unfortunately for the believers, the light was not seen at the time. Maybe these moments will be discussed in episode 6 later in the series. With the sheer lack of paranormal evidence, Rhiannon's scepticism was growing from strength to strength, and after listening to Karen's advice that the alleged spirits had left the room, we decided to go along the corridor into room 5.
Where my hand is, straight above here, there's like little flashes of white light. There it is, it's going round.
Yeah.
Can you see it? It's like a little fly.
I can feel, I got
Look,
goosebumps.
can you see it? It's like, it's going round and round. Again, it's here. Can you see?
Oh yeah.
It's like a circle.
Yeah, down
it's a
there.
circle. Here.
I'd rather much you move around the room because there's a lot of viewers watching this now who are very sceptical, who believe that Karen and Leanna are hallucinating. I know you guys out there watching this footage now are going to say these two ladies are obviously seeing things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I've just seen it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Right in the corner.
Okay. So let's calm down, Okay, shouldn't be so excited, you're believers. It's the skeptics get excited. You've got to do more than what you're doing for their eyes. You've got to do that for our eyes, please. You don't exist. We're talking to the wall. We're talking to a doll. That is just absolutely... Go on, say it, Rhiannon.
Ridiculous.
Right, okay, so we're not mocking the doll. Skeptics are the most arrogant of people, but at the same time, we're just keeping it real. There's no way at all that doll's going to do anything here, and there's no way that these lights that you're seeing here are going to do anything in front of this camera. I'm not golding here, but I'm just 99.9% sure.
I feel you're wrong with that because there's a flashing of lights going in this far corner that keep going off. It's a male energy that's here in this room.
Okay. Do you have a name?
I keep picking the name of David and Stephen.
There's a lot of people watching this show now who are going to be looking and saying, well, the medium's saying she's picking up on things, but there's the skeptics not picking up on anything. Karen asked Rhiannon to lay on the bed with Suki the doll and promised if she did, there would be some kind of paranormal phenomenon caught on camera. Unfortunately, what you're about to see was not seen at the time, but will no doubt be a question raised during the debate in episode 6. The question is, are you about to see interaction between Suki the haunted doll and the spirits of the Red Lion?
Rhiannon, I'd like you to call out now. What will you watch for the change of the lights?
Mrs. Philpott, or Mary, Llewellyn, Stephen. If any of you are in here, can you please make yourself known to us? Tap something, move the curtains.
Can you touch one of them? Try calling for David.
Okay.
For David.
Okay.
For David.
Okay. Is there a David with us? David, are you here?
I'd say what you feel. I've just felt a tickling sensation on my nose. I don't know what that was.
On my eyebrow.
The visual in room 5 will certainly leave some skeptics scratching their heads. Even as a 100% skeptic myself, I am for the first time at a loss as to what I've just witnessed here. And I'm sure our guest skeptic Rhiannon will be saying exactly the same thing. Karen and Leanna had claimed from the moment we arrived in the room that they were seeing specks of light on the ceiling. Now it seems they may have been right. We had one more room to visit on the first floor. This was a room Karen believed had the spirits of 2 small children inside. Children who Karen claimed also haunted the corridor. Witnesses have said that their children will not come in this room without screaming and wanting to get out of here. Karen, what's all that about?
I do feel, I did say that there's children here. The nervousness around children that's coming in the room. It's like I feel they're not wanted here. If there's a John and Mary in this room, would you join us?
If you're in this room, children, can you come and say hello, please? Can you shut this door? There's a doll in here, Mary. The doll's on the bed.
I feel there's a lady that comes here and she's sitting on the left side of the bed. That's where she always slept. Her mood swings were quite deep and she didn't like socialising with people.
Okay. Do you have a name for this lady?
I'm still getting the name Mary.
Okay. Can you tell me about this priest, Karen, Priest Francis?
He was called up to this lady and he gave her the last rites. Would you like to sit on the side where I said and get the
on the
feeling
left,
from there on the left?
Okay, so where did she sit you?
Yeah, I feel, yeah.
How do you feel in that chair, Leanna?
I feel at ease, as if I'm quietly sitting back, observing, watching the world go by. And it's like I could happen
sit here all night.
A lot of staff have told us a lot of stories about this place, but as far as I'm concerned, if they are here, these spirits, then they're doing a good job to hide from us yet again. Karen, it's just location after location and disappointments after disappointments from a sceptical point of view.
You're wrong, because I think you'll get more evidence on this, but maybe we've overlooked.
Has there been anything to change your mind at all, Rhiannon?
There's been nothing so far to change my mind. I'm still very much a sceptic.
As Karen said, I think something will come up that might sway her.
I've got a feeling that Rhiannon does want something to happen to her. You know, she would like something to happen.
I would, of course I would.
But again, she's come here as a sceptic, and it happens time after time when we go to any location. When the sceptics go into the building, they're leaving as sceptics. Your believers are trying to battle all they can, but it's just having no effect on the sceptics.
To be honest, there's more that's going to appear on camera visually that will prove you wrong.
Well, once again, the paranormal scales have shifted in favour of the sceptics. No flashes of light on this occasion, just debating in the dark. If the spirits of children, Mary or even a priest were in the room, then they certainly did not want to interact with Karen, Leanna or anyone else in the room. This video was more about the what-ifs than the facts. One fact that I will stand by is that at the end of this video, our guest skeptic Rhiannon was still very much a skeptic. We've been in all the rooms now. We're just heading down into the bar and the pool room areas. Now listen, I'm not here to humiliate you whatsoever, but I'm here to fight my battle, and my battle is to say that the rooms we've been in, I don't think there's been anything paranormal happened at all. What are you guys having to say to me? Karen first, please.
I feel that I've been impressed with a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, and again it felt very uncomfortable. And we did hear the wind on cue. And I do feel that there was someone around us.
I'm the same. I feel that there is something still definitely going on in these upper levels, and I think whoever it is lurking in the background.
Rhiannon, you've held on to the doll, you've lain on 2 beds with the doll.
Yeah.
You've done everything you can to try and prove that these spirits are here. It is a bit of a laughing matter. Karen, this lady has done all she can. But
Something's happening here. Someone's pulling my coat. First my left side here, and then as I'm talking to you, someone's just pulled my coat down.
But Karen, they're pulling your coat down. They're not pulling this lady's coat down, and they're not pulling my coat down. The believers watching may be convinced by what you're saying. Yeah. I'm not saying that you're untrustable. Maybe you feel that yourself, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not happening to us, and it's us that needs to be happening to for us to become any kind of believer at all. Sometimes when holding a paranormal visual, you just have to stop and do a full reality check. And as you've just seen, that's what's happened here. When members of the public are visiting alleged haunted locations, they never get to stop and review the footage. Therefore, like Rhiannon, many people go away with their initial feeling. Rhiannon is open to the possibility that spirits are in the Red Lion, but she has still not had an experience. We left the first floor and headed downstairs to see if the alleged spirits wanted to have a final say. You guys now, you just arrived down in the bar. I'll come to you first, Leanna. You were a 100% believer when you came into this building. Are you still a 100% believer?
100% hands down.
Rhiannon, yourself, you were a big sceptic when you come into this building.
And now I'm an even bigger sceptic.
Karen, can we do a little bit of calling out in this room before we take a walk into the pool room?
Yes, we can. If there's anyone with us, there's a Mary with us, there's a Beth, you Ellen, David, the name John.
What's the big finale? What are you going to do to prove yourself? Are you just a figment of everyone's imagination who believes in you? There's plenty of glasses up here on the top shelf, plenty of bottles up here, plenty of things for you to move, but I don't believe you're going to move them because, again, I'm just talking to the wall here.
The hair on the back of me is lifting up. Someone behind me here.
Stay still, Lynn, stay still. Strange you should say that because it does look like on the camera that your hair is actually lifting up.
It is at the back here.
Yeah, but it's actually on the back of your coat as well. Let's go into the room that is said to have pool balls smashing on a table. Surely this is your chance now, Leanna, to prove to Rhiannon that spirits are real and they're not just a figment of your imagination. This night was fast becoming the Sceptic show, with Rhiannon claiming her experience at the Red Lion had made him more of a skeptic than ever. Even believer Leanna had stopped calling for the alleged spirits. You'd think after the light show her and Karen experienced in room 5, they would be much more enthusiastic. We had one more room to visit, and that was the pool room. This was a room reported to have an abundance of poltergeist activity. Right, okay, we've come into the pool room, the final room. We are led to believe that this building did have something to do with the church just over the back.
Just before you said that, I keep getting the song in my head, Stand Up for Spirit.
Stand Up for Spirits, what is that?
It's an old hymn.
Well, if the spirits want to stand up for the skeptics, I'll be happy with that. Anyone hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Rhiannon, what did you hear? That.
Yeah. If there's any spirits here, can you please make yourself known to us? We're going to leave before long, so me and Frank are going to walk out skeptics still.
Francis Paul Jones, come and say hello to us, please. Is there a spirit that likes to move the pool balls? Is there a spirit that likes to smash glasses? At this moment in time, I'll take any spirit at all to do anything in this area whatsoever. I've seen nothing, I've heard nothing, and I've felt nothing.
I feel you're wrong, Frank. As I keep saying, I think it's a visual that we're going to get.
I think, as what Karen said, when you review the footage now, I think you'd be pretty surprised on what might show up.
There's nothing here. It's just a old pub in a quiet little village. It's quite nice, actually.
As far as I'm concerned, the Red Lion is not haunted.
I disagree. Totally.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I can't explain why people are saying the stories that they are. I couldn't tell you, but it's not haunted.
Leanna, do you disagree with Rhiannon?
I do. This place is most definitely haunted.
Looking at this night as a whole, the believers will say the paranormal proof is in the footage. But to me, the skeptics will always be doubtful of the proof unless it's experienced firsthand. Unlike Rhiannon's skepticism, the night had come to an end. There has been some very interesting footage and audio captured during the vigils at the Red Lion, but will Leanna be able to convince Rhiannon their experiences have been caused by the alleged spirits within the building? Well, I'm sure we'll find out when they come back for their debate in episode 6. Make sure you join us next time when myself and spiritualist medium Karen Sherlock go head to head at all 4 previous locations in what can only be described as a paranormal marathon.